Let's be real for a second. In 2025, the United States military still sits at the top of the mountain. It's not even close. According to the latest global firepower rankings, the U.S. holds the #1 spot worldwide, with a power index score of 0.0744. That might just sound like a number, but what it really means is the gap between America and everyone else is massive. Even the closest rivals, Russia at 0.0788 and China not far behind, are still looking up at the U.S. from a pretty big distance. And here's the kicker. That lead isn't shrinking. If anything, it's holding strong because of one very simple factor: money. The U.S. defense budget in 2025 is projected to hit just under $900 billion. That's more than 3% of the entire American economy. To put it into perspective, China's officially reported defense budget is about $249 billion. Russia? Roughly $126 billion. Combine them, double them, and you still wouldn't match what the U.S. is spending. And that's where the story really begins, because that money translates into something much bigger: global reach, advanced tech, and the ability to respond anywhere on the planet at any time. Unrivaled manpower and training. Now, it's not just about having a giant pile of cash. What makes the U.S. military so effective is the combination of manpower, training, and capability. The numbers themselves are impressive. 1.3 million active duty personnel. That puts the U.S. in third place globally, behind China's 2 million and India's 1.4 million. But this is where quantity versus quality comes into play. The U.S. military doesn't just recruit, it selects and trains. The boot camps are some of the toughest in the world. And the elite forces, we're talking Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Army Green Berets. These guys are on another level entirely. A single team of SEALs can pull off operations that entire battalions from other countries wouldn't even attempt. Even the reserve component is highly capable. Around 800,000 reservists stand ready, and while that might seem small compared to places like South Korea or Taiwan, the difference is these reservists trained to integrate seamlessly with the active force. This is a combat-ready reserve, not just a name on a roster. Land power, the U.S. Army. On the ground, the U.S. Army fields over 950,000 soldiers when you combine active, guard, and reserve forces. Its backbone is the M1 Abrams main battle tank, widely considered one of the best in the world. And right now, the Abrams X modernization program is taking things even further with lighter, faster, and more fuel-efficient upgrades. When you look at the raw numbers, over 390,000 armored vehicles, more than India, China, and Russia combined. Massive fleets of self-propelled artillery and rocket launchers. Advanced precision strike capabilities that allow the U.S. to hit targets from hundreds of miles away. Even in areas where the U.S. has fewer total artillery pieces, its advantage comes from technology. Smart munitions, GPS-guided rockets, and integrated targeting systems that make every shot count. Air power, the U.S. Air Force. And this is where the U.S. really leaves everyone else in the dust. With over 13,000 aircraft, the U.S. Air Force is larger than China and Russia's fleets combined. The U.S. bomber fleet, the B-2 Spirit, B-1B Lancer, and soon the B-21 Raider, gives Washington the ability to strike anywhere in the world within hours. Then there are the fighters. F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning IIs are considered the most advanced aircraft flying today. These aren't just fast jets, they're stealthy, networked platforms that can see the enemy first, strike first, and leave before anyone even knows they were there. And we can't forget rotary aviation. Over 5,800 helicopters, including more than 1,000 attack helicopters like the legendary Apache. That's air dominance, air mobility, and close air support all rolled into one unmatched package. Naval power, command of the seas. If air power is America's biggest flex, sea power is its calling card. The U.S. Navy operates 440 ships, including 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Nobody else even comes close to that number. Those carriers are floating cities, launching hundreds of sorties a day and carrying enough firepower to influence entire regions. And supporting them is a fleet of 81 destroyers and 70 submarines, many of them nuclear-powered and capable of launching ballistic missiles. China might technically have a larger navy by total hull count, but when it comes to power projection, technology, and global reach, the U.S. Navy is still the gold standard. Space and cyber power, the new frontier. And here's where things get very 21st century. Space and cyber. The U.S. Space Force might be the newest branch, but it plays a crucial role, defending America's satellites, tracking enemy launches, and keeping global communications online. At the same time, U.S. Cyber Command is running constant operations, defending critical infrastructure, monitoring threats, and developing offensive cyber capabilities that could disable an enemy's systems in minutes. This is warfare beyond the battlefield, and the U.S. is ahead of the curve. Tech and innovation, staying ahead. Perhaps the most important factor isn't what the U.S. has today, but what it's building for tomorrow. Hypersonic missile programs are in development to counter similar advances from China and Russia. AI-powered targeting and autonomous drones are being tested right now, potentially changing the way wars are fought. Joint All-Domain Command and Control JADC2 is a major Pentagon initiative to link every ship, plane, and tank into one massive digital network, so commanders can see everything in real time and make faster decisions. This constant innovation is why the U.S. maintains its edge even as rivals try to catch up. Rivals and challenges. Of course, there are challenges. China's military modernization is happening fast. More ships, more missiles, and a bigger focus on space and cyber warfare. Russia is still a major nuclear power with a large ground force. But here's the key difference. While those nations are catching up in some areas, they lack the global network of alliances, bases, and logistical reach that the U.S. has. America can project power in ways that no one else can. So here we are, 2025, and the United States military is still the undisputed global superpower. From its nearly $900 billion budget, to its elite personnel, to its dominance in the air, on land, at sea, and even in space, no one else comes close. And with new tech like the B-21 Raider, hypersonics, and AI-driven systems rolling out, that lead isn't going away anytime soon. If you're fascinated by military power, global strategy, and the future of warfare, stick around. This is just the beginning. Subscribe, drop a like, and hit the bell, because we'll keep bringing you in-depth breakdowns of military strength, conflicts, and global security every week.